What makes you look so good? Why don't you love me like I know you could?
All right, 5 minutes after 10 o'clock, Kelli Hart is in the studio from Ocala Magazine, and we're going to turn to talk about whatever we feel like talking about.
Good morning.
Morning, Kelli. How you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Good. I love that video you did. My goodness, you have a way with words.
Well, I appreciate that.
Video.
It was.
You got a nice letter from a lady, it looks like, huh?
Yeah. I mean, you guys, you're in the same boat. You get letters and emails and calls a lot, often, and so do we. And we appreciate all of them. So that was really all that was about. It gained a lot of attention, but it was really funny. And it was really just a way to make light of something, that could otherwise maybe really bring you down or be negative in nature. So they say, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. And so that's what that was about.
When you're on a stage, not like yesterday, Rob and I were on stage with children. Children don't do this. Although, by third grade, they might do this. But we were up to second grade yesterday. Okay. We stayed in the safety zone. Yeah. But when you're on a stage with adults will often be rude to the person on stage. They're called hecklers.
Yes.
And, you watch people who are really good with hecklers, like Jerry Seinfeld is really awesome when he gets a heckler. Mm-hmm. And then others who are really bad. And you say to yourself, wow, this is just the way the world is.
It is,
And it's even worse with social media.
It is way worse with social media. And, we used to think that it was kids that were mean and kids that were bullies, but I think now maybe all of those kids have grown up and they're adults. Because in my childhood, I cannot recall being bullied at all. I mean, that doesn't mean that there wasn't, the mean kid in class or that person, but, really being bullied. And I have experienced that as an adult person, which is really sad. And I've experienced from adult people, which is really sad. So, there comes a point in your life where you just have to really be authentically you and be yourself. And if yourself is being a private person, I respect that. If yourself is kind of being a transparent person, then I respect that. And likewise, there's going to be things that we all say or do, especially on social media, because that's really just a little window into our lives. I am way more than my Facebook posts. You know what I mean? I am way more than that. But that does narrow down people's perspective of you. And so I try to be, very genuine with the things that I say I post. And if you don't understand it or don't like it or you love it or whatever, that I respect that commentary either way.
With the inauguration today,
yes.
A lot of people are posting positive or negative things about Trump.
Right.
And those who are posting positive are getting a lot of negative feedback from people who don't like positive.
Right.
And people who are posting negative are getting a lot of negative things from people who don't like negative.
Right.
It's amazing how childish our adult population is.
Sure. It is. In fact, my mother has been a Trump advocate from, I won't say day one, but when things were narrowed down, she really made her decision and was devoted to that decision, like most of us were. And this morning she had just posted on her page something like, happy day or oh happy day. I mean, it was just 2 or 3 words.
Oh no.
And that was it. I mean,
And did she catch flack for it?
I spoke to her this morning. Yeah, she just said that, one woman in particular made the comment.
Oh no.
Oh well, I'm going to just be kind to people because, something along the lines of not every one of us are happy. And that's okay, but there was a lot of us that weren't happy the last 4, 8, 12,
oh my gosh.
So but it is what it is, and at some point you have to accept this is where we are at, and you have to honor where we are at.
Did you ever once call somebody who supported a candidate you did not support? Did you ever once call that person an idiot?
And I don't think so. I don't think so.
I doubt it.
I can't recall.
I doubt it.
I mean, luckily for me, it seems like most of the people that I affiliate with and are connected to were really in agreement politically with me in this particular election. Now, my very best friend was not, and we had some heated debates over things, but it was more, factual.
Issues.
Well, what about this? Well, okay, but this, and what about this? But never, you're an idiot. If you're educating yourself and you're voting and you're taking the time to form an opinion one way or another,
Right.
whether it's agrees with mine or not, to me, you're not an idiot. You're doing exactly what you should be doing.
So let me apply this to magazines in general.
Okay.
And then let's apply it to Ocala magazine specifically.
Okay.
Because magazines in general have a political position, right? I mean, if you read Newsweek magazine, it's usually slanted to the left.
Sure.
And Time magazine is usually slanted to the left. Rolling Stone, way to the left, right? Let me think of one that slants to the right. I don't know. The Washington Post is typically to the right, okay? So in editing a magazine for Ocala, do you stay away from the topics that will do that to the magazine? In other words, it seems like you do. And I'm not saying that's,
Sure.
that's playing softball. I think that's smart.
No. When it comes to the magazine, when we are doing things, when I am writing for the magazine or coming up with content or ideas for the magazine, we can come up with very controversial topics, and I think that we should, because the point of writing is to really evoke an emotion in someone, make them think. If it makes them angry, great, we've done our job. If it makes them cry, great, we've done our job. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll always agree with what's written within the content, but we do try to write from a very neutral stance. So here's what's happening, here's the possibilities, here's other possibilities.
Yes.
Try and
That's what
find
I've
people
noticed
in the
you do.
community that we can quote and use as resources from both sides, so that when someone reads it, they're really just getting the information, and now they can form their own opinion about those things.
Yes, and not all magazines do that. I mean,
Not all magazines.
Magazines, it's almost like a given that,
Sure.
that we're going to have this position, and you can read another magazine if you don't like
Sure.
it.
Well, and the hard part is because we've branded ourselves. So many of us that work at the magazine have branded ourselves, so that when you see, Kelly, you just see the magazine. It's hard for people. It's very difficult for people to separate the two. It's hard for them to say, okay, Kelly's wearing her editor's hat, or today Kelly's just wearing her, Kelly ball cap and being Kelly, and it's very hard. So when people see things on our personal Facebook pages, sometimes they will get upset because they think you're not allowed. And I've been told before, you're not allowed to post these things or have these public opinions because you work in the media. And my response is typically, but I do have the right to have those opinions. Where I choose to use my platform is a totally different story. And,
Yeah, sure.
but it is very difficult. I know that you guys run into that same issue because you get wrapped up, you're in the media, so therefore everything you're doing is a representation of that media outlet, which can be great, but it can also be very unfortunate when you're just trying to be, a everyday Larry and not on-air Larry. And so it can be really difficult. But I think we do a stellar job when we have our stories, when we write our feature stories, in regards to being very neutral and trying to give both perspectives so that readers don't feel like there's a slant one way or another. And it's not easy to do.
No,
and there have been articles that have come across the desk, and it might be about a particular elected official, for example, and I will know that I have a very strong opinion about this person, and I will pass that off to another writer.
That's the smart thing to do. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Because there are some times when you just are very strongly opinionated, be it good or bad. That's not the time. It's very, to me, unethical to try to even attempt to write neutral, because you're human. You're not going to really be able to do that. At some point, it's going to shine through. So I'll say, okay, this person should probably get passed off because I know how I feel, and it's not fair. So let me pass that off. So,
but one of the things I think that Ocala seems to have going for it is that, okay, if you don't know Ocala and you're looking at it from Miami or from another bigger city, and you say, well, that's got to be a very, very close-minded city, that we're probably ultra-conservative, et cetera. It's not completely true. I mean, we're very open to listening to what somebody else might have to say.
Right.
And I think some of our elected officials have done things we're all proud of, as well as some things that we're all a little bit, cringing on.
Right.
Some things.
Well, and things take time. I mean, it's going to take time as people age out and new people age into those elected positions. Of course, those people are from a different generation. They're going to have different thoughts, and it's going to take some time, I think. And there's still probably right now a lot of residual. It's no different with Donald Trump. He's going to come into this thing and have to clean up not only things that, maybe Obama had to then clean up, that we're still not completely cleaned up. I mean, it's all residual. But we look at that president in that particular seat and we say, why aren't you doing anything? Well, sometimes doing something means just getting something started that we may never, ever see the results, for years down the road. I think we have to keep those things in mind. But the bottom line is we have a process. It's the American way. We do it. It happens. Whoever wins, wins. We may like it. We may hate it. But we have to respect it because it is our process. And thank God we have the process. We could be in a dictatorship where we're just told, exactly what we're going to do and how. So thank God we don't have to endure that.
Do you happen to know anybody that went to the inauguration?
I do. Yes, I do. My friend Paul is there, and I've been very jealous watching all of his posts that he's been posting since he's been there. I'm extremely jealous.
Jealous why? Because he's there?
He's there.
It's got to be crowded.
It's got to be crowded.
It's going to be rainy, they say.
I don't care. I just feel like it's history. It's history, and it's just to be wrapped up in politics and. I don't know, the flags,
that historical
everything is so historical. Yeah, and to me, I just feel like, man, that'd be so cool just to be there and have that moment. So I'm just living vicariously through him on Facebook.
Cliff Stearns was in here not too long ago. He wrote a book, and former Congressman Cliff Stearns, and he's been on our show numerous times in his. How many years was he a congressman? 20 years or something like that? A long time. And he had invited us so many times. And now that he's not in office, I looked at the back cover of his book, and guess what it was? A picture of his office. And I said, I wish I had taken you up on one of those invitations at least once. So I know what you're saying. Yeah, it would be nice to go.
Yeah. So I was glad when Donald Trump made his way here that I was able to go and experience that, because in my lifetime, I've never
Did you get to meet him?
A president. No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. But
that was kind of cool. He came to Ocala.
It was super cool that he came here, and it was. To me, it was like a big moment for me, and I know it was a big moment for Ocala.
Oh, sure.
I mean, to welcome somebody, our president.
I think the other person I know that I saw a picture of with him was Stacy. I think.
Yeah, she got to meet him.
Yeah.
Another one.
Well, she hangs out with those rich kids.
Right. Well, we drive cars. She's in helicopters. So.
Right. All right. Let's take a little break. We'll be right back.
Okay.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Friday, a partly sunny, warm day with a high of 80 to 84. Partly cloudy and mild Friday night, low 58 to 62. Partly sunny and very warm for Saturday, high 80 to 84. For Sunday, mostly cloudy, breezy and warm with some strong thunderstorms likely in the afternoon, the high 77 to 81. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
Hey, this is Matt Wilkerson from Verizon. You work all day, right? So why would you want to spend your night out shopping for that new phone? Well, Marion County, let me and Verizon help you out. I can deliver to your home or office, saving you precious time. Phone, tablets, internet, home phones, even accessories. Whatever you need, we will deliver free of charge. Call me at the store, 352-528-0020. That's 528-0020.
Stay informed on everything going on in the Villages with the Village Spectator newspaper. The Village Spectator is exclusively devoted to the Villages with news, commentary, and more. And yes, they have Tom's Picks, a free referral for people who are looking for a company to do work for them. Tom's Picks will refer the company that fits your needs, and all we ask is that you tell them where you heard about them. Call Tom's Picks at 804-1223 and pick up your copy of the Village Spectator today.
Now read Ocala Downtown newspaper online.
The entire world watched. They watched each step down the rungs of that small ladder, one after another, and waited with great anticipation for that last step.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
At that moment, humanity saw the impossible become the possible. And today, the sky is not the limit. Achievement. Pass it on. A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
All right, 20 minutes after 10 o'clock, Kelli Hart is here. It always goes so fast, Kelli.
It does. And I want to talk about something super important. Speaking of celebrations, a couple years ago, Ocala Magazine decided that we were going to host an inaugural Celebration of Nurses event. And we've talked about that numerous times on air. And of course, it's it's going to be April here again, which is when our third annual Celebration of Nursing event will take place on Thursday, April 20th. So we've really started marketing for that so people can understand, make sure they save that date. It's going to be fun. Every year there's a different theme. This year's theme is Mardi Gras, so that's going to be fun. And the colors will be bright and we'll have a great time. We always have entertainment. We always have free food and free drinks and prizes, and we give away awards. And, the last 2 years have just been so phenomenal. It is a way for us to say thank you to all of our local nurses that have, crazy hours. A lot of them are away from their children to get them up and off to school or to tuck them in at night, because why? They're working to save the lives of our children and the people that we are able to tuck in at night. So we thought that would be a great idea, and it has been a successful 2 years. So we're very excited about the third annual one. And if you go to the Ocala Magazine Facebook page and like us on Facebook, we just posted a link a few days ago that allows you to nominate a local nurse, a local nursing student, and a local nursing instructor for an award that we announced the night of the event. And we've always had the nursing awards. And this year we decided that we were going to really honor nursing instructors, because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't have, our skilled nurses.
Is that one of the things that after you finished the first one or the second one, you said, you know what, next year we should do?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. So, every year we get together, we brainstorm after the event. What could we have done better? What were people saying they really enjoyed? So we keep doing this thing. And we thought it would be nice because nursing school is not easy, and it's a lot of work, and Lord knows it takes a special person to be a nurse. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want to do it. I could not do it. But there are people who do, and thank God for them. And so we thought, nursing students are working very hard, and we want to honor them, and instructors in the same way. So this year we will have new awards that we're able to hand out to honor even more nurses and people within that particular industry. So the link is on our Facebook page, and the nominations have already started rolling in. And it's really nice because, there's a portion of the nomination form online that gives you an opportunity to just kind of say a few words about the person you're nominating. And we have gotten some of the most amazing, really touching stories about nurses. And it's very, very hard to decide, which is why we do have a panel of judges that help us narrow things down so we can pick the person we think is most deserving. But it's very difficult because the stories always go, she spends countless hours away from her children.
Right.
His mother was suffering from cancer, all the while he's taking care of, other people's mothers, and then coming home and then taking care of her. I mean, just very touching stories. And so it's probably one of my most favorite parts of the event is getting to read those personal stories about people.
The conscientious person you are just displayed itself when the first example was a she and the second example was a he.
Well.
You just knew instinctively, don't make it all about she, because nurses typically we think of ladies. But clearly we have many male nurses.
We'd have many male nurses.
I wonder what their stories are. Like a lot of times when you are assigned a nurse, whatever, they'll say, look, if for any reason you're uncomfortable with a female nurse, you can always ask for a male nurse, or vice versa. I wonder how many of that, you know what I mean?
Right.
I wonder how many people just are blatant and almost rude about saying, I don't want you as a nurse.
I just want to live. So whoever
you,
can get in
you
here
and me,
and help me out right now, I don't care.
Yeah.
So, and if you've ever been in the hospital or you've visited someone in the hospital, which I would say most of us probably have, you see these nurses. I mean, they're tired. They've worked these long hours and they're on their feet, and I'm sure there's probably lots of complaints, and it's high stress. And people scared, and they're what's going to happen, and it's an emotional.
I wonder how many of them have a minor, so to speak, speaking in educational terms, that comes into play with the nurse. They majored in nursing. They minored in, let's say, Spanish, so they can use that minor.
That would be smart.
That would be, or sign language or something like that.
That would be very smart.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it, and that's why this event means so much to Ocala Magazine, because we know how much it means to nurses. And because we're in our third year of this, and there's been a buzz for the last 2 years, people are even more excited and the momentum continues to grow. So if you go to our Facebook page or if you just call Ocala Magazine and say, hey, how can I get involved? Because we do have sponsorship opportunities. It's a great opportunity to expose your business to, a few hundred nurses and their families. And you don't have to, your business doesn't have to be in the nursing field. You may just have a product that you think would benefit these nurses and all of their families and the exposure to those nurses. And most of the vendors usually have some type of, they're there for a thank you, such and such car dealership is here because we just want to thank our nurses. And it's a really good opportunity to say thank you and become a sponsor.
Do you ever think about this? You're with an emergency responder, a first responder, or a nurse, or somebody like that who is all day long, constantly facing something that you and I never face. I never face somebody who's crying because they're in so much pain.
No.
I never face somebody who's trapped in a car and needs to be taken out, or somebody who just lost a child. Oh my gosh! On a daily basis, first responders and nurses they see this every single day. It's a special person,
that's why I
right?
say it takes a very special person.
My
it's
goodness.
like God must have just single-handedly picked these people to be able to do that job, because it's like getting a letter from someone because you've, made a spelling error in the magazine, or they don't like the way you write, or maybe they just don't like you as a person. But that is nothing
compared to what they go through.
Compared to someone who says, help me save my life.
But the beautiful thing you do with the nurses recognition thing that you do is because the magazine is looked up to. And so you recognize somebody in their profession, and because they're so professional, they don't feel jealous that that the nurse Sue was picked as the top nurse. They're happy that their profession is being recognized.
Absolutely. They're so supportive. Usually when there's any type of award, it becomes a competition. And I think in this case, seeing it, being the one that presents the awards and seeing how the auditorium is so supportive of everybody, it's really, really amazing. And it's a free event. We're not charging nurses to get in. We're not making money off of the event. It's free. We literally want them to come in, have samples of a bunch of different foods, live entertainment, good music, a fun time. We have games. They can walk out with prizes, hundreds of dollars worth of prizes, bottles of wine, so that they have that one evening to just think about themselves and be a little selfish in their time and not have to be helping someone else. It's a small gesture on our end, but I really think it goes a long way, and it sends a really big message to how we appreciate and feel about our nursing community.
So what do we do to help? Do we nominate nurses?
So the way that you can help is to go to the Ocala Magazine Facebook page and click like. When you click like, of course, that makes sure that future announcements and information about the Celebration of Nursing event will make it into your timeline. In fact, I think there's even a way you can, after you've liked us, you can set it up to where you make sure you're not missing our posts by following us. So please do that, because there's a bunch of different information that unfolds throughout the event, and we want to make sure that you're not missing it. If you want to be a sponsor, you can always send us a message on Facebook or email us or call the magazine and ask, get some information. We have, of course, a packet with all of that information included in it, but make sure that you're saving the date for Thursday, April 20th. It's going to be 6 to 8 p.m. at the Livestock Pavilion Extension Auditorium, where we've had it every other year, and it's been such an amazing time. So if you are not a nurse, nominate someone who has had an impact. You don't have to be a nurse to nominate another nurse. And if you are a nurse, nominate someone that you see every day you work with that really deserves it. And this event is not just for nurses. It's open to the community, because we want everyone to kind of celebrate nurses together with us. So that's really important. And of course, always be liking us on Facebook, because beyond that, we have tons of information, including our 40 under 40 nominations, which are also underway. So we've got a lot of things happening right now that will result in information that you will not want to miss.
Always quick. Always goes too quick, Kelly. Thank you for what you do.
Larry. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Coming in here as well. We'll take a break. Be right back.
Wanna be your man tonight, oh Cali baby. What makes you look so good? Oh Cali baby. What makes you look so good?
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. President Obama leaves the Oval Office for the last time today. This after he and Mrs. Obama welcome the president-elect and his wife for tea at the White House.
A tradition that dates back decades. Both couples will then motorcade from the White House to the Capitol for the inaugural ceremony. Mr. Trump's inaugural speech is said to last 20 minutes and will touch on the theme of unifying America.
Fox Radio's John Decker. Meanwhile, protests against the incoming president in D.C. as well as around the world. And notorious drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman due in a New York court this afternoon.
He's arrived in New York last night via private jet to face charges, including drug trafficking, several other federal offenses. He was extradited at the request of the U.S. government after being recaptured in Mexico just a year ago.
Cheryl Cazzoni with the Fox Business Network. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Offer not valid in all states or where prohibited by law. See website for details.
Need some extra cash today? Do you have bad credit or maxed out credit cards? If so, turn your radio up. 35cash.com is one of the nation's largest personal loan networks with over 50 different lenders. Now you can get a personal loan for up to $5,000 with any type of credit discreetly from your computer or smartphone and with no paperwork to send in. That's right, no paperwork whatsoever. Your cash will hit your bank account as soon as tomorrow as our lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history. Visit 35cash.com and you can have up to $5,000 in no time. Just have a checking account and a regular source of income and you can get the loan you need now, regardless of your credit. Go to 35cash.com from your smartphone or computer to get the cash you need. Visit 35cash.com. Type www.35cash.com directly into the address bar. That's 35cash.com. 35cash.com.
Ad Council. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Gene and Debbie would like to thank you for another successful year of business. We want to wish everybody a safe, healthy, and prosperous 2017. We are ready to be of service with our pasture mowing. 352-629-2440. Locally owned and operated. Experienced and reliable. Commercial and residential. Licensed and insured. Powell Gene, Gene at yahoo.com. 352-629-2440. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. 352-629-2440. Proud United States veteran.
When you go into Automax, Marion County's #1 pre-owned dealer for over 15 years, you won't take the new car depreciation because Automax saves you thousands on late model vehicles. Browse the inventory online at automaxocala.com. Then come down to see the great vehicles and upfront pricing in person. Compare up to 60 models inside the climate control showroom. So take your time. No high pressure, no gimmicks, no games. On the corner of 17th and Easy Street. Automax. Quality cars, outlet prices.
Live on stage, experience the magic that is the Fantastics. February 2nd through February 26th only, Ocala Civic Theater brings you this timeless tale of two starry-eyed lovers separated by a wall and their fathers. Call 352-236-2274. That's 236-2274. Or go to OcalaCivicTheater.com for tickets to what critics call the perfect musical, The Fantastics at the Ocala Civic Theater.
Leprechaun Soft Wash is the roof washing method that is safe and effective on shingles, tile, metal and shake roofs, vinyl, wood.